When I first arrived at Fairview Heights, it was like stepping into a suburban dream, meticulously trimmed hedges, matching mailboxes, and a friendly nod from every neighbor. After years of bouncing between rentals, I finally felt rooted. I'm Alex, a digital marketing specialist with big dreams of hosting weekend barbecues, movie nights under the stars, and eventually a backyard pool that would redefine comfort at home. Yet, whispers of the infamous HOA rules lingered in the air. They were spoken of as if they were an inescapable force, and little did I know, I was about to meet someone who embodied that very reputation. My first week was uneventful until one Saturday morning, a sharp knock disrupted my peace. Standing at the door was a woman in her late 50s, dressed immaculately in pastel, and holding a clipboard like a badge of authority. "Hello, I'm Karen," she said, her tone crisp and her smile too measured. "I'm on the Fairview HOA board. Let me go over some neighborhood standards." I introduced myself, but her disapproving glance at my casual attire said it all. As she recited the rules, from yard care to holiday decor, it became clear that Karen was not just a board member, but the personification of HOA strictness. Neighbors later confided that Karen's the reason every hedge is the same height, a comment that made me wonder just how intense her oversight could be. Ever since I could remember, I dreamed of a backyard pool. The idea of a cool, inviting oasis on hot days was irresistible. Determined, I meticulously researched Fairview Heights regulations, secured the necessary permits, and submitted the requisite paperwork to the HOA. Just as the excitement of my vision peaked, Karen reappeared at my door. "A pool," she said, handing me an HOA compliance pamphlet. "Remember, any alteration must meet our strict guidelines." I assured her that every detail had been attended to. But as she rattled off specific requirements, fencing standards, pool color schemes, noise limits, I sensed that my dream oasis might soon turn into a bureaucratic nightmare. 3 weeks in, as my pool project began to take shape, I discovered a red envelope taped to my door. Inside was an official notice, a steep fine for unauthorized construction under some obscure section of the Neighborhood Beautification Code. "Wait, what?" I murmured, scanning the citation. My heart raced. The fine was clearly the handiwork of Karen. As she strolled by, clipboard in hand, she remarked with feigned concern, "The board had no choice. Your project is out of compliance." My frustration mounted. I had followed every protocol, and now Karen was bending the rules to serve her own agenda. Determined to fight back, I spent that day buried in HOA bylaws, meeting minutes, and legal documents. As the night deepened, I uncovered a clause that would change everything, a succession rule. If the sitting HOA president stepped down, the vice president would automatically ascend to the top spot. And much to my astonishment, the document bore my name. It turned out, following a resignation and a technical inheritance linked to my late aunt's position, I was next in line to become the HOA president. The realization hit me like a tidal wave. All this time, I've been scrambling to adhere to Karen's draconian standards, oblivious to the fact that I was about to gain the authority to rewrite them. The very next afternoon, I found Karen on my street, clipboard clutched tightly. Seizing the moment, I called her over. "Karen, got a minute?" I began calmly. After a moment's hesitation, she agreed. I laid out the facts. The bylaws clearly stated that I was now the HOA president. I produced the printout. "See these pages? They confirm it." Her face shifted from smug confidence to sheer disbelief. "That can't be right," she stuttered. I continued, "It is right. I've confirmed this with the board. This fine and all the unwarranted penalties are now subject to review." For a heartbeat, the roles reversed. Karen, the once unassailable enforcer, was visibly shaken. "So, what now?" she whispered. "Now," I replied firmly, "we start over. Fair guidelines for a fair community. And I'm inviting you to help shape that change, not enforce outdated rules." Without another word, she retreated, leaving me to wonder if this was the beginning of a genuine transformation. In the weeks that followed, news of the new president spread like wildfire. The community, long oppressed by Karen's iron-fisted rule, embraced the change. At the first board meeting I chaired, I presented a vision of balanced governance, one that upheld community standards without stifling personal expression. In a unanimous vote, the board rescinded the fine and several other questionable penalties. Neighbors started visiting my pool with genuine curiosity, turning it into an informal community gathering spot. Even Karen, now sitting silently in the second row, seemed diminished in her former authority. One evening, as I noticed her lingering by my newly installed fence, I offered a simple greeting. "Karen, are you all right?" After a pause, she softly replied, "Just thinking. It's different now." And indeed it was. Fairview Heights had transformed, a place where rules existed to guide, not control, where community and individuality could coexist. In reclaiming my home, I had also reclaimed the spirit of our neighborhood.